The Vegas Forward podcast delves into the lives of the people in our community, uncovering not only what they do, but who they are. Business may keep our city strong, but it's the individuals that continue to create, innovate, and push Vegas forward. All right. Well, welcome to the Vegas Forward podcast. I'm, as a sports fan, super excited to meet with our guest today, Albert Hall, who's the president of Hall Pass Media, as well as the president of NBA Summer League and one of the co-founders. Albert, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, Nick. I appreciate it.
So Albert, let's start off by give us a little background about Hall Pass Media, very high level, along with the NBA Summer League, which I'm sure a lot of viewers are familiar with.
Sure. Hall Pass Media, sports marketing agency based here in Newport Beach, California. We've been involved in sports for over 25 years from a variety of capacities, working in a team front office, an athletic department, sales, agency side. And so we kind of stepped off and said, look, with Hall Pass, almost 15 years ago now, just somebody who has the pulse of sports. We're able to create campaigns for different clients, whether it be a Clorox, whether it be the NBA Coaches Association, basically a way to leverage your brand in the world of sports. We have a vast network, a lot of experience in producing live sports and creating content. So really finding ways to leverage brands in that sports ecosystem, whether it be an ROI for the brand, whether it be revenue generators, whether it be growing the actual equity in the property. So Hall Pass has found a nice little niche, a great clientele, and a good track record of both success stories with the work we do and the people that work for us. So we're pretty happy about that. And then obviously we're the marketing and fulfillment arm and activation arm for NBA Summer League. And that works out really well. And we've been able to really build that rapport with Summer League over the last, now 19 years, whatever it may be, 18 years, to where, look, if there's an opportunity to execute a campaign or bring in a different activation or build out our studio set or, this year our sneaker lab, things like that, Hall Pass takes the lead on that for Summer League and really drives those campaigns.
Very cool.
So it's really a great, harmonious relationship here. And then on the Summer League, with that, I started back in 2004 with Warren. We actually go way back to 1995. So I was working with the Seattle SuperSonics up in Seattle, and Warren represented George Karl, our head coach, Dwayne Casey. He had a bunch of people on staff, Terry Stotts. And so Warren would always come in on these kind of road shows for his clients and preseason and whatnot, and developed a great relationship with him. And over time, we just looked at things pretty similarly, right? And so we would take a kind of a summer journey over to whether it be Long Beach or one of the summer leagues that was going on. And every year for 2-3 years, we scratch our head, go, gosh, this could be done so much better, in our opinion. And so we set out to do that. And then in 2004, we had a kind of a game plan on, look, maybe we can pull this off. Warren had a brief meeting with Commissioner Stern. He's like, you think you could pull this off? This was May. He's like, can you pull this off in July? I think it was July or late June. He calls me, what do you think? I said, let's go for it.
Yeah, I got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, and
cool.
Kind of like Warren's my agent, I'm his business manager, right? And so we've developed this just really good symbiotic relationship over the years, ebb and flow, and just, we're not afraid to challenge one another, think about what works, what doesn't work, what makes the most sense from the different constituencies that are involved. And, over the years, we've just developed a smart strategic plan with both the NBA as our league partner. Adam Silver's been fantastic. He was a guy just trying to figure things out when we first started too. Obviously he had things figured out, but from a big picture mentality, and knew that Summer League was an important asset for them in the off season.
Yeah.
And our goal was just really in our early stages, how do we mend that audience from the end of the NBA finals to training camp? Yep. And it was, this was before free agency was really a big deal, and Summer League and, Combine and all that. So obviously Summer League's a big part of what we do, but it was all part of this ecosystem. And we've developed all these wrinkles over the years to where now, it's become part of the DNA and the fabric of the league.
And it's always here in Vegas, correct?
Correct. Ours is. There's two. I mean, when we first started, there was Utah, there was Orlando. And so we decided, look, we're going to work with Utah. That's fine. They still have theirs. Orlando shut theirs down and came out our way. Now you have the California Classic, which is kind of a rotating Warriors, Lakers, Kings thing. But for the most part, look, it's been 18 years in Vegas, and when we started, there was no one there.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had 6 teams and a box of flyers and 6 handshakes. But we've moved in that direction now to where you look at it and it's a global property. We have 140,000 people attending. We have billions of video views and impressions across the digital landscape, and our teams really see it now as this unbelievable and unparalleled development platform for coaches, players, veterans, owners, meetings of all types now, to where it's really become, an essential 10 days for everyone involved in the league.
Yeah, no, I've personally attended actually and saw one year. I think it was like right before COVID actually. So
I hope
was awesome.
so. I mean, look,
yeah.
Hopefully you're getting out there. If you live in Vegas, it's funny, Nick, though, you mentioned that there's still a lot of people that are not sure what it really is. And, with our partnership with the NBA, we're doing a better job now of getting into these team markets and really bringing fans out from the team markets. And I mean, I had a couple guys from North Carolina, a couple guys from Brooklyn this year show up for the first time ever. And we're like, man, we're hoop heads. We had no idea this was, as accessible as it is. So we still have a lot of growth opportunity in that area.
Well, it's pretty cool because you'd see some of the younger players too that could just get drafted and they're playing in the summer league. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I saw
Stars of tomorrow today. I mean, every year, and the beauty of it is we get guys that come back who their summer league experience really was the trajectory for their career. So whether it's John Moran, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, I mean, these guys all started there and they come back. LeBron every year comes back on his own. So it's like they want to be there to, it's like that new kind of, I don't know if it's the rush process of the fraternity or what have you, but it's that, that welcoming into the league.
Exactly. So let's start things off way back in the day. Not to age you here, but
all right.
when you first grew up, where are you from? Give us a little background about your upbringing.
Sure. I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, right outside of Seattle. I'm a Seattle guy, and youngest of 5, and sports was huge in our family. Just no one was good enough to be a professional, but it was recreation. And, back in the day, it was a way for, my mom to pass us off and not have to pay a babysitter. It's like, go play sports. And
exactly.
Look, it just kind of was in our blood. And I developed a passion for it, and both playing and really promoting. I mean, even going back to my sisters would play, fast pitch softball, and I'd be the bat boy and, have fun doing that, going on a road trip, and love the outdoors. My brother is a big outdoorsman, and that's kind of one of my passions is fishing now, and that's a good kind of happy place for me. But that typical Northwest family that's very involved in sports. And then I moved on and went to Washington State University, and it's a big communications school. Studied communications there. Was involved in promoting athletics, and that whole experience of being a Coug, what it's like when you go there, which was great. And I still am very involved and support their programs from football and basketball and women's sports and what have you, and very involved there. And then I left there and decided to say, hey, I wasn't sure what direction I would go, but I went to Lake Tahoe and worked. I was a blackjack dealer right out of college.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was actually working in the sports book and then moved into blackjack, but like a lot of people don't know that. But
that's your Vegas tie.
Yeah, it was a great tie. But more than anything, Nick, it was that personal service tie. Yeah, it's one thing when you're a college student, but when you come out and you're, I'd work a swing shift from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. and you're just on every,
all the time.
Yeah, because you have people just coming down, sitting at your table, or people coming up. And this guy, when I was working in sportsbook, guy comes up and goes, "Hey, give me 44,000 on the Redskins." And I was like, my jaw dropped. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's like more than you're making in a year at the time.
But I developed a relationship with that guy who was as funny as the guy who like originally developed Bakersfield, California. But I got a sense for what it's like to take care of a client, what it's like to have those quick interactions, what it's like to create value in a relationship, whether it be small talk or a commonality, or look, what do you think about this on a bigger picture? And that experience was great. I did that for a couple of years. And then, in the mid 90s, I went back up to Seattle, and then I was with the Sonics from 93 to 98, worked in the front office there. We had a new practice. I sold season tickets. And then we opened a new practice facility, and they said, "Hey, you've done a great job doing this. What do you think about working the front desk?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm not a receptionist type, but sounds great." So I went there, and honestly, it was the best move I ever made.
How did you find the job? Like, how did you get connected with the Sonics?
I started out as a volunteer, working game nights, running stats, and doing press quotes and whatever it was. But worked for Sherry White, who was one of the original, PR gurus in the NBA. Her father was a PR guy and a news guy, and she had a lot of credibility. So gave me a shot on a nightly, working nights and game nights. And so I did whatever it took. And then I became kind of the play-by-play stats guy for the broadcast, out of town broadcast. That was a great gig. So I got to know a lot of people that way. And then just front office, I eventually moved into kind of a scouting role for the front office and coordinating all of our scouts and doing some stuff there. And then, eventually just became kind of that liaison and the right-hand guy for George Karl, who was Warren's client. And so that's how Warren and I developed that trust and that relationship. And then, that I did that for 5 years, and George moved on to Milwaukee. I didn't want to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I just love Seattle. I'm a Seattle guy, and like grunge music was big then, and I was loving it. And, the city was just full of life. And so I stuck around, and I ran Coach Karl's foundation, Friends of Hoop, and built a lot of early AAU program professionalism in an AAU program. No one had ever done that, and we ran it like an NBA team. And first team was Jamal Crawford and guys like Aaron Brooks and guys like that. Brandon Roy, who was part of the city of Seattle. Like, again, we just had this whole kind of connection up there, and I knew that the basketball community was something special, and I wanted to stay in basketball. So after I left Friends of Hoop, it was like, look, I'm going to move down to California and kind of plant my flag and start my own agency, sports marketing agency down here. And, that's how I started Hall Pass. And then Warren and I kind of developed this game plan for the summer league. And, I had signed a couple clients on the Hall Pass side, working with UC Irvine baseball and Coach Savage. I built the baseball stadium up there.
Oh, cool.
And, kind of moved into that athletics role there, and then into my own business. But
so you met Warren while you were at the Sonics still, correct?
Correct. I met Warren back in the 90s. So, and then, like I said, he'd come on these road shows, and we would just kind of, go out to dinner or go to lunch or go to a game, and just developed a really good rapport.
Yeah.
He had a lot of people that trusted in him. He's at the time, just had a variety of things, very interesting guy, spoke all these different languages and traveled the world and found a way to make basketball a business, a career. And, I admired that, and it was a guy, after I'd heard his stories, like, hey, he grew up, he's a military brat, been all over the world, worked on the produce market, and, he's a hustler and grinder. And I go, that's me, we were a good team. So look, we moved into, the summer league back in 2004. And when we started, it was, hey, what are we getting into here? Like I said, we had about 6 weeks. And literally walking in the front door at hotels, trying to make connections. And I've told this story before. It's not a secret, but like we needed a team, kind of one team hotel. And I sent this guy, one of the GMs with New York at the time, a size 21 shoe in a box with a proposal, and just said, hey, we're trying to get our foot in the door. Right. And the guy loved that and said, you know what, that's creative. Who are you? And, hit the streets, walking the streets, handing out flyers and doing a deal for our staff at a timeshare hotel where we had to go and listen to timeshare meetings the first year.
It's
So
fun. It's fun looking back though, right? On where
no,
you
it's
started.
great.
It's wild.
And I mean,
Yeah.
we did everything on a credit card. No one was financing
I was
us.
going to
And
ask you, when you first went and started Hall Pass, was it just you, or was Warren with you at the time when you guys
no,
first
Warren had
started?
his company, WGL, and then I had my, obviously my own kind of vision of what I wanted to do. And we've run parallel paths the whole time, but he
Okay.
runs his business. Obviously, I'm a sounding board. I run
Yep.
my business. He's a sounding board. So it's worked very well. And then we have a joint company called VSL Properties, which is Vegas Summer League, right? So that's an entity, and then Sports Business Classroom, which we also have, is underneath that. So we've got a variety of businesses, two basically together, but we have our own companies. But yeah, I mean, we weren't like, hey, here's a parent company, here's a budget, go start what you can, see what you can do. Not at all.
Yeah.
We did side deals, we did trade deals to feed people, we did a little sponsorship deal here or there to get some water or beverage offset, whatever it took.
Yep.
And so that was, like you said, it's fun looking back, but those were the early days of Summer League. Were really pretty interesting. I mean, we're coming up on 20 years now. We've actually been approached about our 20-year documentary, and
cool.
we shot some content this summer on that. So look, it's a great story. Hopefully we can keep this thing rolling, but it's it's a tribute to the people that we have working for us, our staff, our program of VSL internships and Sports Business Classroom. I mean, we have over 160 people working in pro sports now.
Wow.
And this year's class is really stellar. I mean, Megan is a great example of, kind of getting on-site experience on how to do this, developing a network within the NBA community, and then accentuating what you can do in a job opportunity. And we support these people. We don't try to like, hey, you work for us. Not at all. We want them to grow out of the nest and really fly and spread their wings. And we've seen that. I mean, the network that we have who have started with us is pretty impressive. And at the end of the day, look, Summer League's great. There's been a lot of great stories, but our legacy will be the people that, have cultivated their careers through our programs.
I love to hear that. I look at my business the same way. It's like when people leave, we had a girl leave not too long ago, but she was with me for 8 years, and I was kind of proud. It's like,
oh yeah,
she started off as an intern and kind of grew, and couldn't even go out and have drinks with us when she first started one night for a company party. So
that's the beauty of it. It's like, again, every time someone lets us know about their job or thank you, I just accepted this position. And really the line that Warren and I both have is just keep making us proud. That's 100%. It. They learn a lot. Summer League, it's interesting. It's only an 11-day period. They're basically there for 12 days. But during that 12 days, it's about as intensive a learning experience as you could have. Some days are easy than others, but there's times when you're put in a position, no matter who you are, what role you have, where you're put in a tight, decision-making role, or what's my best, alternative here, or, you have to really be prudent with your decisions. And that goes a long
massive
way.
Yeah, it's a pretty massive operation too. I mean, you got to it's event planning, right? Coordinating hotels, the logistics of the entire event. Like you mentioned, all the marketing, sponsorships. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin to do what you guys do.
Our broadcast.
Tell me a little bit about the. Go ahead, sorry.
I was to say our broadcast compound started with one little truck and a satellite dish. Now we have 12 semis out there and 14 trailers. And I mean, it's pretty amazing on where that's come and all the ancillary pieces. But yeah, we love that program.
Tell me a little bit about the first Summer League again. Like, like a little bit more details about how you started it, how it went. I'm sure there was a lot of failures.
I don't remember this, but Warren always says this story. Like literally we were so entrenched in trying to figure out this first game. We didn't have basketballs.
It's like, right? There's one thing we got to remember.
Yeah, one thing we need to remember. Where's the basketball? So now every day I'm like, okay, we have balls. We have a great team that handles all of our court management. I mean, we've really just run it like an NBA team, and that first year we were winging it. There's no doubt. Yeah. And but we knew the 6 teams that we had wanted to be there. It was cool. It was something different. And, other summer leagues had kind of, as I said before, it was like, no offense to anybody else, but we just felt like we could do it better. And
yeah,
we had that mentality, but we wanted our number one priority to the first day to this day has always been, how do we create an unbelievable experience for our teams? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we wanted. We just want our teams to feel like, wow, we got something out of this. This was worth the investment from our time, our financials, everything, because it's all about them getting better. Not only are we growing the stars on the court, but the stars off the court. But, that first year was just kind of like, wow, we had Dwight Howard, we had Rajon Rondo, we had the Celtics team was unbelievable, right? They were loaded. Tony Allen, Al Jefferson.
Yeah.
I mean, Rondo. And it was like, wow, these guys are really good. But they had Marcus Banks, who was actually a UNLV kid. And we're like, hey, maybe Marcus will help us sell some tickets. But, it was pretty random. And people were like, what is this? And to this day, we're kind of like, you know what, we'll let you know. But it is NBA teams. It is NBA players. And then over time, we've created an NBA experience.
And every team is represented now, correct?
Correct. All 30 are there. Yeah.
That's
all
awesome.
30 teams. We started with 6. We went to 12. We doubled it. And after that first year, the feedback was really good from the 6 original teams. A guy like Danny Ainge, who was running the Celtics at the time, was, wow, he's really good. Jim Paxson, who was running the Cleveland Cavs at the time, which was one of our first ones. John Weisbrod, who was running Orlando, he's a hockey guy, but he was running the Magic. They actually came out. Phoenix Suns, it was like we had all these people that were kind of in the, very trusted resources. John Nash with the Washington Wizards, I think, was one of our guys. And they were like, look, we were just honest about it. Like, what can we do for this experience to work? And I think everybody enjoyed it. We had a little gathering there, it was Vegas. So they brought their families and, had a nice time. And then over time, we just, we really developed. So we went from 6 to 12 to 18 to 24 to 30. And now we have all 30 teams.
How involved is the NBA, the organization itself, with Summer League?
They're very involved. I mean, when we first started, it was just us. So the NBA basically just gave us a certification letter that, hey, you're sanctioned. And then after we signed in 2007, I signed Toshiba as our title sponsor. And they were like, whoa, you guys are getting pretty good at this thing. So let's hold on a minute. They're not an NBA partner. So they came back in, and we since then, we've just developed these kind of buckets and areas where we thrive in our kind of respective areas, and then they thrive in theirs. And, from a broadcast and a media perspective and a sponsorship, they handle those things. And then we handle, obviously the logistics, the operation, collectively work in those other areas too. But, as I said, it's important for us to develop an NBA experience. And that's really the goal that we have collectively, both from the NBA and ourselves and VSL. And then, you throw in security, you throw in team challenges, you throw in the practices, you throw in, owners meetings and board of governors and referee clinics and, tech summits and, tech expos and, think tanks and like all these different things now that are part of it.
Yeah.
So we collaborate on those things. And, really it's become that festival type atmosphere. This year we created NBA experiences where we had already had kind of a big hospitality plan, but the NBA is doubling down on this experience market, and the summer league's like the perfect backdrop, perfect litmus test. So, you go to games, you can go to shows, you can go drive a race car, you can do whatever you want right in Las Vegas and have a great dining experience and incorporate, legends into it. And so that's really a growth area for us collectively, and we're excited about it.
So what is your main role during the show? Or I'm like leading up to and during?
Smokey the Bear. I mean, I'm firefighting, but leading up to it, I'm involved in everything. I have teams that manage everything from, our tickets, our marketing, our digital content, the security side of it, the activation and partner, the concourse and our radio partners, our on-site studio now, our special events programming. So I have people that are involved in all of that. I delegate as well as I possibly can, but I'm still,
Sure.
hands-on with everything we do. So leading up to it, I mean, it's a 12-month process. We're already working on, we just completed some of our recap materials and, our settlements and, getting our bills paid and everything. And we're already into, what's 23 look like. And for us, this year we're actually doing a new deal with the league. So it's like we're putting those pieces together and showing the, $125 million economic impact that we have for the city and Clark County now. Right.
It's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, and as you said, your intern makes you very proud. I'm really, 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 really proud of that.
Yeah.
We started from nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we have, and I mean, Governor Sisolak's been part of our program for a long time, way before he was governor, right? And we've had different hotel executives that have come in and helped us. A guy like Maurice Wooden, I don't know if you know who that is, but I mean, Maurice he ran the Win for a long time, and a big guy. He just wanted us to succeed. Gavin and Joe Maloof. I mean, those guys were, and George Maloof. Those guys were huge for us.
Yeah.
Right. They just said, look, we want this to work in Las Vegas. This is a cool thing. And so it's just been one of those things where every year, as I go back to developing those relationships, it's important to service those, put the time in. Again, share ideas. Hey, we do this red, yellow, green, right? Red, let's stop doing that. Yellow, let's proceed with some caution. And green, let's go all in, double down. Right. So I think we do that with all of our partners, and we've done that since 2004. And it's been fun. I mean, it's been a heck of a lot of work. But on a daily basis, I can be, working on, hey, we need to get this person coming in courtside seats, or what's going on with our R&D and tech that we're integrating into the game today, who are special guests coming that we need a security detail. We have a partner activation or a Noche Latina night where we're honoring somebody in the community. Cool. Steph Curry's going to be here at the 5:00 game. I mean, it varies, man. We have a special event that night with our music, that's going on, or our tip-off party. So it's a variety of things. But I don't hate to say it, but I mean, we're good at it, right? I mean, I want to say that because we remain humble and hungry is kind of one of our themes, right?
Yeah.
But we never take anything for granted. That's just not who we are. We're a league for the people, and that's the beauty. Now we're 18 years into it. We've got people that are season ticket holders, people that have come from day one that stop me in the concourse and a big hug and a 30-second engagement of, hey, how you been? What's going on? How's the family? A lot of times their son or daughter has worked for us. I mean, a guy like Gary Payton Jr. Who had a great year. He was one of my ball boys, right? And I've known him since born up in Seattle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of connections to what we do and the extended family that we have.
Where are you seeing it go? Like some of the things you work on next year, or where do you see the league going in the next 3 to 5 years per se?
I get asked this question quite often. There's a map, a roadmap, but it's obviously got a lot of, U-turns and detours. But we use kind of like we use this theme with analytics, right? It's like, it's a tool, not a compass. Right. Kind of like with Summer League, the feedback that we get, it's a tool, but it's not going to tell us exactly where we're going to go.
Sure.
But we think that, the festival side of it can really grow. And we've added, like this year, we added our sneaker lab, our studio, our NBA experiences. The sports business classroom continues to grow. We added a music element with our Summer League sessions and upcoming artists that we had, after hours, after the games were over. So I think that area can really grow on the offsite. From an on-court and a basketball perspective, I mean, the games are great. We integrate new, basketball operations technology all the time. Our medical and what we do behind the scenes for the players and, the testing, the different things that we have going on, huge. It's been big.
What facilities are you guys utilizing? Because are you down at UNLV or like?
Yeah. So we're hotels? At UNLV, Thomas and Mack, Cox Pavilion is where we play our games. We have the Mendenhall Center. We have the Student Rec Center. We have the student housing. I can't remember what it's called. The Student Union Building. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So we have meetings over there. We have the rookie transition program there this year. We have the North-South gyms where we did the rookie photo shoot. So, I mean, we have like all of these great facilities on campus where, UNLV presents a very awesome opportunity because it has so many other areas that we can build our programming around. And, that's the beauty of being able to do that on campus. I mean, if we were, if anything said, hey, for us to relocate or do something different to a different city, it's like we know what our footprint needs to look like.
Well, and Vegas is a perfect town. I mean, you have people coming from all over the world to visit the Strip. And so you're getting, I had a friend actually fly out here just to go to your summer league. He's a big Bulls fan.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And again, that's part of that, 125 million. It's like everybody needs a room. Our dinners, we're not looking for the $9.99 buffet.
Exactly.
Our people are closing Delilah every night at, however many $1,000 a table. Right. I mean, so it's, that's one of the beauties of what we do is like that high net worth affluent audience. Someone told me there's more millionaires in town for Summer League than any other event in Vegas. It's like, okay, that, and again, that's part of the growth. Those people want to come and they want to know what's going on there, and they want to see the first, the number 1 pick go against the number 2 pick, and they want to see, great basketball. They want to see stars. They want to be stars. So, we cater to that audience, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure our teams are really developing, the next generation of young talent.
Correct. So, and you brought that up too, is like, the Strip and how that impact you guys have made. Can you break down a little bit more information about what NBA Summer League and Hall Pass has done for the city? Not just from a financial perspective, but what else have you heard from your discussions with, you mentioned the governor, things like that? Like what have you guys done for the city? Because that's one of our focuses on our podcast, is finding people that are successful like yourself that have built something amazing here in town and how that has impacted the local community.
Well, I mean, when we started, there were no pro teams there, right? Yeah. We were the first pro team per se. And we look at it, even Adam Silver has said this, like we consider it our 31st franchise, right? The Summer League in Las Vegas. And I get asked, hey, when's the team coming to Vegas?
That is a good question.
I'm not in those meetings. I wish I had more intel, but look, we watch that. We know, we hear what's out there. But I think we softened the beach, to use a term Warren uses often. We softened the beach for the Knights. We softened the beach for the Raiders, just to show that, like, look, these pro team, Vegas is a pro sports town. And now, and the beauty is, I don't think anybody's forgotten us, right? They know that, hey, we're kind of the OGs of that movement. Yeah. Granted, we're only doing it for a couple of weeks out of the year, but we have a presence year round. We do everything in the community. We've helped kids throughout the community and scholarship kids, and a lot of great programs. We honor teachers. We honor first responders. We honor our military. We honor coaches and educators. And so it's, that area of us helping, establish pro sports. We've worked with a lot of community groups and developed programs and refurbish things. Veterans Village is somebody that we've worked with over the years and helped a lot. But I think from our impact with the city, it's just, we've proven that people will come to Las Vegas economically because it has everything to offer. You get direct flights, whether you want to stay at the bougie hotel and, party your butt off, or you want to bring your family and keep it low key and hang out at the pool or, catch a show. It has everything to offer.
Yep.
So I think for us, it's really important to know that, we've helped develop some of those areas over time. The experiences now with, as I mentioned before, there weren't a lot of those when we first started, and now that's a big business. And so, look, whether we're a little tiny piece of that or not, I would just say, look, the investment that Vegas has put into us has been very, very, very tiny.
Yeah.
To where the return on that investment is massive.
Definitely.
And what other property would you do that with? I mean, you pay $2 million to bring the NFL Pro Bowl, and it's like
nobody cares.
No.
Yeah.
Versus our event, I mean, it's part of the fabric and the DNA of Las Vegas.
Exactly. And is UNLV, you work closely with them, I assume, because you're taking over a lot of their space. What kind of
100%.
what kind of involvement has UNLV provided you guys? Is it consulting? Like what's the
Oh,
relationship
they're,
with
I
the
mean, they're
school?
family, they're
Yeah.
family. They know our event as well as we do. They know the shortcomings. They see the challenges ahead of where they get, rather than hitting us, right there. We usually know when something's going to, create an issue.
Hmm.
Um, and we share a lot of information with them. They have an excellent team of people that are just, great at what they do. And they help us run that. We have ushers that have been there for 18 years. We
Oh,
have,
cool.
our video team that's run through there with Brian Williams and Mike Newcomb and his staff, who runs the Thomas and Mack Center, does a great job for us. And we're working with the ADs and the athletic departments and the coaches on making sure that we're not impacting their schedules,
Hmm.
but working well together.
That's awesome. And any plans on venturing outside basketball for your concept? Like, would you guys ever do another major sport or any
I've
talks
been
like that?
I've been approached about hockey this year, and
Yeah.
just to be honest, like I love it. I'm involved in hockey a little bit on one of our other shows at Hall Pass here. We have a show called Missing Curfew, a podcast. It's a big hockey podcast,
Oh, cool.
with NHL players.
I'm
But
a big
it's
hockey fan, so
are you? Oh yeah, you
yeah,
should check
yeah,
out our show for sure.
yeah.
But it's I think hockey's on the rise, so there's some interest there. I mean, there's a couple other sports that we've talked about. I actually was bringing the TBT, which was another basketball event that we were a client. They were a client of ours, but COVID hit. Plans changed, so we kind of
Mhm.
pivoted off of that. As I said, that roadmap and that detour, and went a different direction. But look, we're always looking at how we can improve. I think the music thing is something that we're looking more and more into. This week we have there's USA basketball out there, so there's always a lot going on in Las Vegas from a standpoint of, hey, how do we bring new juice to the city all the time? I mean, we'll see where this
Yeah.
expands talks with the Pac-12. I personally think UNLV would be a great addition to the Pac-12. The market would be
Oh, yeah.
massive. It's on the
Yeah.
upswing. It's got a lot of history. Pac-12 is very
Hmm.
embedded there already. And, look, I think that would be a win-win for everybody. We'd be definitely involved in that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it would be kind of cool to do something with hockey. Hockey needs a little bit of a oomph to it, like it was a big
It
deal when it
needs
got the
some
Knights.
pizzazz, right?
Yeah.
It needs
Yeah.
some pizzazz. The playoffs, the fans are fantastic. The
Yep.
players are as dedicated as it gets, but it needs that little pizzazz that, a city like, I mean, the Knights games are great, but where you cultivate
Yep.
all those folks in there. I was there for All-Star this year and it had a good buzz to it. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
good work.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So I don't know how much time do you spend in Las Vegas? Is it just during that one short stint, or do you
No,
come
no,
out
no, I'm there all
frequently
the
to,
time.
to the city?
I'll be there Saturday. We have an office in Las Vegas.
Oh,
We're
cool.
we're there quite a bit. So I
What
mean,
what are some of your favorite things to do recreationally here in town
you know
in
what? It's
Vegas?
funny. I'm usually working. I'm like the most boring Vegas guy you will ever meet. Seriously.
Okay.
I mean, I do dinners. That's about it. Um,
Nice.
we go to a place called Ponte Vino. We've been there forever. Um, uh, what is our place across from? Oh man, you would ask me across
There,
from the Virgin now. Ferraros, right? The
oh,
Ferraros.
Ferraros. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so we go
Yeah.
over there
It's
all
been
the
around
time.
forever.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I do a lot
You
of dinners. Um, I'll go to games, right? I like going to
Mhm.
games. I owe my wife a Lionel Richie show, so I'm looking forward to getting out there for that at the Win sometime this year. But we get out
The-
there and we generally hang out with our friends, right? That's kind of it. We're like
yeah.
those locals, we're not the out of towner who's like, I got bottle service and I'm going all night,
Yeah.
and that's just not my
Yeah.
deal.
I
So
hear
to
you.
communicate and connect with friends and do a nice dinner and good bottle of wine.
Yeah, no, it's a great town. I mean, we talk about that a lot on the show. It's like there's just the town's evolved so much. I moved here in 2002. So
Okay.
just before you start summer league, And it's completely different now. I mean, now we've got, like you said, sports teams. We've got, you doing the summer league, Madison Square Gardens building that sphere. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw that, but it's night and day. I mean, half the casinos didn't even exist when I first moved here. So it's definitely evolved into being more than just casinos and gaming, right? There's
Oh yeah.
amazing restaurants off the strip, things to do, hiking and stuff like that, which I wish I did more of, but but
I
there's
mean,
definitely a lot
last
of
year we
outdoor
did
activities as well.
one of the side projects we did after Summer League. We brought in the Utah Jazz. We did training camp for them at the Wynn.
Oh, cool.
We literally brought in 2 floors from Utah, and now you're talking about 100,000 square foot ballroom that was just impeccable. And
Yeah.
it's like, wow, this is a long way from our making sure we had Gatorade in the coolers
And
at
basketballs.
yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of a cool story to hear about your journey. And it's funny you bring up when you were a blackjack dealer. I kind of started off my family owned restaurants. And I always say that my college degree was that more than college, just because you learn how to meet people and interface, and you kind of can look back on that experience and see how you learned to become who you are today, right? In a lot of ways.
I mean,
And figure out what you're good at.
it's invaluable, right? And I worry about our future a little bit with how much technology's
True.
overrun our children. And I have a 14-year-old daughter, and it's a
Yeah.
it's a challenge every day. And bless their
Yeah.
heart, they have a lot of different things that they have to deal with now. But you can't replace that interpersonal communication and connection. And I think that's where COVID really kind of took it away from all of us. And you saw the people. The older generation was like, man, I need that. I need to go to a live event or a concert or a picnic or a barbecue or whatever it was to just kind of get that back. And hopefully our kids get that sense back now. I know sports is a big part of that, but really, that's one thing where Vegas, you can't escape that, right?
No.
You have to meet and connect with people. And personally, I love that.
Yeah, definitely. You brought up COVID. How did you guys handle that whole situation? It was because you're, like you said, you planned 12 months out. Tell me a little bit about how you battled through that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging. Like it was there was a lot of uncertainty, and between the rules restrictions and the testing, the protocols, we just weren't sure. We were always optimistic for 2020, but when that hit, we were smack dab in the middle of everything, and obviously the NBA was on the forefront of all the COVID testing, all the protocol, how to get a live event back. I think that was huge for the NBA, really put their neck out there. I don't think they got enough credit for that, really kind of restarting the whole, just live event thing. But for us, it was challenging. We lost everything in 2020. And but found a way to still keep our head above water and tread some water. And we're a seasonal operator. And like I said, we don't have a parent company. We don't have deep pockets that are hey, we can absorb that. It was basically everything Warren and I had. And so, it was hard, and we didn't lay off any of our employees. We kept everybody working, and
that's awesome.
We just knew that the commitment was there. And then in 21, we were able to come back with limited, capacity. And, our event was down about 40%, which we knew that it would be a challenge. And, we just didn't have all the bells and whistles and the hospitality and the courtside seats, and which has become a staple for us. And then this year we got the juice back. It just felt back to normal, and fans came out. We had some great attendance. We had a lot of our ancillary pieces. We're able to do that at concourse activations again, which is really, it keeps the buzz going in the building. So we felt really good about it, and then we're excited for next year already.
What are some new things you guys are doing next year? Anything different?
I'm not sure yet. We've got a lot of things on the table to look at. Yeah. I mean, but I think that, like, as I mentioned, those festival elements are something we really enjoy and think that there's opportunity. Whether it be new technology, whether it be another special ancillary event, we'll look at all of it. What we can do. So we talked to our teams yesterday. I had about an hour call with the Warriors on some of the stuff that they do, and what they get out of Summer League and how they approach it now. And It's become a huge asset for their veteran players, to really get some face time with them, and off-season conditioning training, breaking bread, what have you. So look, we're always looking at how we can improve that experience for the teams as well.
Sure. And what about for the fans? I mean, you mentioned the whole festival approach. Obviously, I've been there as a fan. It was definitely unique and cool. And I remember still seeing Trae Young play. And I was like, I don't think he's gonna be very good. And of course I was wrong. That's why I'm not a scout.
A lot of people said that.
When I saw him at first, he was super quick, but I was like, he looks thin and small. Yeah. So it was, oh my God. Yeah. So, but that's one of the cool things about Summer League, I think, is that you can experience those players. It's super intimate, which is really pretty cool. It felt like you're in a gymnasium, back home or something, right? Like it had that
allure, right? Yeah. That players love that. To be honest with you, players really love it. Yeah. They're like, hey, this is great. We get to, get a live crowd, get some energy. They hadn't done it since they're in college, most of them.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's a really good vibe, and this year, they're playing for something too. This year we added, with our championship, we added an NBA Summer League championship ring. I don't know if you saw that, but
no, I didn't.
Well, I mean, it was a legitimate ring. And so now there's, they have a chip. If you won that, Portland won the title this year, but it's something that those guys can regroup 20 years from now, that group of people, because they'll all go their separate ways.
Yeah.
And be like, man, remember when we had that, and the night we had out on the town afterwards? Or I just think that's kind of one of the things we want to build, because in the basketball community, like if you're in college, at the end of it, everybody goes separate ways, and you got to try to reconnect. Same thing if you're a pro. I go to this team, I go to that team, I go overseas, I stop playing, I go into coaching, I'm, a teacher now, whatever it may be. But if you have that commonality of Summer League, 20 years from now, it could be pretty cool for every championship team.
No, I think it's super awesome when you're put together. And I think do you look back in the day and say, would I do that over again or what?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, right?
It's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love. I mean,
Yeah.
It's funny. That's why I say I'm the most boring guy. I mean, when it comes to Vegas, I'm working about 18 hours a day.
I
grab a bite to eat, go to bed, and do it again, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, we appreciate everything you're doing for the city, and again, it was an honor to get to chat with you today. When Meg reached out, I was like, it's super cool. I'm a big sports fan, so it was pretty cool to be able to chat with you. So where can people find you and the company and learn more about Summer League?
Yeah, so we're at Hall Pass Media, Hall Pass Network. Excuse me one sec. Hallpassnetwork.com. And all of our social channels are Hall Pass Media, at Hall Pass Media. In the Summer League, we have our hashtag NBA Summer. This last year, we brought 2K in, so we had a hashtag NBA 2K23 Summer League. Megan can fill you in on that, but from a social channel, like I just do everything through Hall Pass. I'm not that personal guy on social. I watch my daughter and her friends deal with it, but
you'd be the same.
Yeah. I mean, look, but we get our message and tell our story through Hall Pass. So hallpassnetwork.com and at Hall Pass Media. And then, I mean, Summer League is everywhere now, and you can't escape it. Just Google Summer League, it'll point you in the right direction, whatever you're looking for.
And when do you guys start selling tickets and really doing a big push for Summer League?
Yeah, we'll go back on sale in May, May of 23. So leading up to that, we'll have all the storylines and follow the different players that will be featured this summer. And then we'll go on sale with our packages and our season tickets and all of that good stuff in May.
Awesome. Well, listen, it was awesome chatting with you today, learning a lot about you and your history and Summer League. And we just want to say thank you for jumping on Vegas Forward today.
Hey, thank you for having me, and good luck. Appreciate what you're doing to keep telling those stories of all the Vegas connections.
All right, I will. Thanks, Albert. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Nick.